thanks for watching. Now, back in September 2020, I had the pleasure of working with Andree Funnell while I helped her record her video sections for her online training course with her Behind the Mask book. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity while I was there with the video camera and in the very lovely space that is Victoria Hall Theatre, and interview her just very briefly for my channel. So this is how it went. Hello and welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Now, today I'm going to follow on from my series of interviews with people working with actors in a professional capacity. And today it is a slightly different interview because today I'm interviewing Andree Funnell. Now, Andree, she has a business, Aspiring Future Competence, and in fact, Andree, could you explain a bit more about what you do with your company?
Yeah. Lovely to be here with you today. Aspiring Future Competence is a learning and development and coaching consultancy which was established in 2002. I work with corporate businesses, private sector companies, and also I work with individuals. So if I'm doing coaching, I will work in, as I say, in corporate one-on-one, or I could be working one-on-one with individuals with their everyday life, things like career progression, etc.
Lovely. What's the biggest sort of company that you've worked with, size-wise? Are you able to name drop?
No, I can't really name without getting
hand slap.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've worked with some big players, IT companies, estate management companies, retailers, manufacturers, but size-wise, I mean, you're talking quite a few 100,000 people.
Wow,
yeah,
impressive.
Globally.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I'm doing a lot of things like leadership and management training, soft skills training, so it's all about behavioural change.
Right.
Yeah, so I've been doing that for 18 years and I absolutely love it.
Fantastic. Now, there's probably a few people watching thinking, why on earth am I interviewing you? But actually the reason why I'm interviewing you is because you actually use actors as part of your training. Could you explain a bit more about that?
Yeah. One of the key benefits for me of using actors is because if you're doing a case study, a scenario, and I hate the word, and most delegates do, so I avoid it. The word role play. For you to get somebody, a manager, maybe a very experienced manager or a new manager, to carry out a scenario, they find it very difficult to then try and become somebody else in order to get the best out of the role play.
Yeah.
So the benefit of using an actor is I develop the course for the client, bespoke, and then I do some consultancy and find out about the client, what it is they do, the culture of the organisation, and what are the key learning objectives. So what do they want it to look like at the end of the course? What behaviours do they want people to change? Now, I develop case studies that are bespoke to that company, and then those case studies are written in such a way that it's trying to enhance the learning, so the manager then becomes themselves or acts as themselves, and the actor, such as yourself, Jim, because Jim and I have worked together on a number of occasions, and he's wonderful, I have to say. So the actor,
I'll go give you the money later for that.
the actor then plays the part of the individual. Now that could be in something like performance management, appraisal interviewing skills, recruitment interviewing skills. The last one we did about a year ago was disciplinary and grievance investigations.
Yeah.
So Jim would play the part of the either a grieved individual, the individual who's in deep trouble in terms of discipline, or it could be someone who's being recruited.
Yeah.
So what I would give to the actor would be a script. We would go through that, work out the audience, who we can push a little further and challenge.
Yeah, certain pinch points that we're trying to establish.
Those that we need to be a little bit more kinder to because they're newly qualified managers or this is their first management course. The actor then takes on the persona of the difficult individual, the aggressive individual, the maybe the individual who lacks confidence, or whatever the scenario, or whatever the subject area is.
So what would you say would be the key points or talents or skills that you would expect an actor to display? Okay. Say you were interviewing them for a new potential client that you were working with. What would be the thing that you would expect them to be able to demonstrate that would go, yep, I'm going to hire you?
So the answer to that question, interestingly, is that I would expect that actor to have, at some point in their life, worked in a commercial environment so that they clearly understand the bureaucracy, they understand the culture, they understand a little, they don't have to understand fully about the business, but they need to have understood how people work and react in a corporate or a commercial type of environment. So what you would bring to the party then is your acting skills, but more fully you would bring your knowledge and experience of interviewing people or being interviewed. You'd bring your knowledge of doing a discipline or being disciplined.
Yeah.
So therefore you're bringing together your two sets of skills, your knowledge in terms of being an employee or manager within an organisation, and your ability, your theatrical ability to be able to switch between aggressive, empathic, lack of confidence, etc.
So in many aspects, really, somebody coming directly out of theatre school is not somebody that you're really going to be wanting to work with. You're probably looking at people who have decided, perhaps, and we'll come to this in a second, but perhaps that they've worked in the corporate environment, they're unhappy with themselves, they've possibly done quite a lot of amateur theatre locally, so they've played lots of different parts in their spare time as a hobby, but have then decided, perhaps as a second career, because they feel they're not being authentic to themselves in their corporate life, they've then gone into becoming an actor as a way of kind of realising their potential.
Absolutely, and it's about challenging that passion of theatrical and acting into, how to embed the passion to become the persona of the individual, to therefore the experience of the audience, the delegates, they are experiencing somebody maybe firsthand of being difficult or disgruntled or aggressive. So it makes the learning, so if the actor is able to do that from a personal perspective, having been in corporate, and as an actor they can turn themselves into anybody, in terms of characteristic, then that is, I can't tell you how empowering that is, and how much that you learn from what, and even if you weren't the person in the hot seat that was managing that individual, if you are observing, the observers get just as much out of it, because it's like watching a video and being able to pause it. And one of the other things that I like to do, and which you help me do when we're working together, is to maybe pause and say, what went wrong? What could you do next? So it's a bit like having a remote control on the TV. And what you're seeing is, the delegates then suggesting, okay, you might say, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
And then to see how it unfolds in real life.
Sometimes somebody's got a grievance with a particular employee, sometimes the actor would then have to get up out of the chair, walk around in a circle and come back as the one being accused of causing the grievance, which can be very tricky, let me tell you.
And one of the other things is, to use different accents because we're a multicultural.
Oh, yes. Now, hang on a second. I'm just gonna break for a moment here. I properly got thrown under the bus by Andree on this occasion because one of the scenarios I was given, I had to play an Eastern European. So obviously you can hear my accent is not naturally Eastern European. And guess what nationality the manager was that I was going to have to be the Eastern European in front of? I think it was Polish or Romanian or something like that. So there I was, being Eastern European in my best Eastern European accent, trying not to offend him and also test him. And I got all the way through the scenario, and right at the end I went, "I'm sorry if I caused offence." And he was like, "It's okay." But yes.
You did really well, I have to say. Brilliantly. Yeah.
But so we are, we've got the luxury of being in the Victoria Hall Theatre, which is a community theatre in Old Harlow, and we've just been doing a little bit of filming. So I took this opportunity just to nab Andree for a quick interview. But here we are in a theatre, and you work with actors, and obviously actors work, they put on other personas, they wear this mask to hide the real selves while they're performing as another character. Now you just brought out an audio version of the book that you brought out last year, which is all about being your authentic self and removing your mask. So if you'd just like to tell the audience a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. The book is entitled Behind the Mask. And for those of you who have come across the saying imposter syndrome, that's the buzzword at the moment. The inner critic. It's about you knowing and understanding your true self. And the book is an interactive self-help book. And it takes you through case studies, interactive exercises. You get to draw, you get to create, you get to fill in self-analysis questionnaires. I mean, it's just filled with all different types of activities for you to fundamentally start to dig deep and work through and identify things like your core values, your limiting beliefs, your level of emotional intelligence, where you are now, where you want to be, setting goals. It's just it's empowering beyond belief.
Yeah.
Action points, commitments, there's so many things. It's a small book and it can be done as quickly or as slowly as you want. It's a pick up, put down book.
Fantastic.
But it came about because I spent my life in corporate world 18 years ago being one of those people that was hiding behind a corporate mask because that's what I thought the organisation expected of me.
Yeah.
Many people in management positions, leadership positions, or even employees for fear or vulnerability purposes, they do put on a mask when they walk in that door. And the person that you're seeing is not the same person you would see if they were in their family home or they were out in public. So everything in that book is from my heart. It's things I've personally experienced. And the idea behind the book was originally it was a corporate course that I ran for clients. It was a training program. It's a coaching program. And I thought, hey, why don't I produce something that you can pick up easily and work through it? Or you can work through it with me on the Coaching Accelerator program. Fantastic. But it's a tool. It's a tool to start you on your own journey of self-discovery.
Lovely. And if people wanted to buy the book, where would they find it?
They can find it on my website, behind-the-mask-book.com.
Oh, that's a mouthful, that.
It is. So that's in paperback on my website, an audio version. You can also get it on Amazon, and you can also buy that as a Kindle version as well. So it's in Audible books. So as I say, Amazon or my website.
Fantastic. So you've pretty much covered the whole base. Brilliant.
I've covered the whole base, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Andree, and I hope you've all found that incredibly useful. And actually, one of the core parts of the book and of the course is about core beliefs. And one of the things when you're working as an actor, it's understanding who's the right person to go with, especially when picking something like an agent. If the agent doesn't fit your core values, that agent is probably no good for you and you need to go find somebody else. So if you're interested, have a look at Andree's book, have a good read. It's a fabulous read, and like I say, as creatives, it's a wonderful thing because you can get creative whilst you're reading through it. So thank you again, Andree, and thank you for watching.
Yeah.
I will see you again very soon.
Yes.